Culture.
Qulture.
Qulture. Culture.
A Shop, they were voted the #2 best graffiti crew this year.
The street art scene in Montreal is very vibrant. We're considered as the kind of like mecca for graffiti and street culture in Canada. It's something that everybody understands. The general public is not as afraid of it as it used to be.
Street art could be anything. It's basically a piece of art and expression that will live in a public sphere, but in my opinion, not in a place that was paid for.
I think art should be public. What I'm having a problem with, and I think many graffiti artists have a problem with, is the street art term, because essentially street art is so vague and it's so sugar-coated. It's cool to say street art, it's not offensive. To say graffiti has a little ooh, yes, it should, because it is vandalism. It's if it's not illegal, it's not graffiti.
It's not so cut and dry, I guess. Just semantics of the words graffiti and street art. Usually when someone says graffiti, they go, oh, graffiti is this stuff, scribbles kind of thing. And then street art is Banksy. For most people, that's as far as they've touched on this sort of subject.
Graffiti wasn't art at the time. No one considered it as art. It was a language. Got considered as art later on, became a phenomenon. Street art in general, if I'm not mistaken, is the most profitable form of art right now in terms of contemporary art. It's what's selling the most around the world. The most stupid question that I hear over and over again is like, well, I really like what you guys do, but I really hate the guys who do tags everywhere. That's disgusting. And that to me is the most insulting thing ever, because that's where that art form originated from. I just can't understand how someone can really, really, really love apple pie and have no appreciation for apples. So when we see kids doing vandalism or expressing themselves, taking a spray paint can and letting these colors rip on these trains or whatever it was, that's what forged these beautiful murals we're looking at today.
People, first of all, call graffiti anything that's on a wall. That's number one mistake. Graffiti is a very specific thing. What I do is not graffiti, and it should never be called graffiti. I do artful vandalism. There really is two worlds in a way when it comes to public art, because this is basically public art. There's the legal and the illegal.
Whether you're doing either graffiti or street art, it's still seen as something wrong, something dirty, something that's not socially accepted. But at the same time, there's that edginess and that illegal aspect that actually have that validity. Picking your spot, scouting for your spots, and finally putting it up. It's thrilling to some extent, It's part of the risk, it's part of the danger, it's part of the whole process. It's something that, I get off on.
We have to be careful of cops and thing is not something that I like. No, a lot of people think that I do what I do because of the adrenaline of the whole, running from cops. And no, I shouldn't be running from cops because I'm putting art out there. I think it's silly. Art should be free and everywhere, and I don't fundamentally think that what I do is bad. I think it's a positive thing. It's a form of freedom, and pure freedom is important in societies.
Where a lot of graffiti is just kind of saying your name or putting saying I'm here kind of thing. The idea of seeing artists like Obey and Banksy, people that are more socially conscious with their messages, that was something I wanted to participate in. Earth Crusher is a caricature of the 1% kind of greedy businessman. He's the body of a man, but the head of a machine with no discernible empathy. And Earth Crusher kind of took off, and it was something that was more interesting, and it forced me to learn more about what I was commenting on to keep it relevant. There's an energy that you want to create something and put it out, whereas when it's a gallery, you need to go through a process of approval, and it cuts the energy out of putting up artwork right away.
Graffiti and street art is not an end product. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's the process. It's the fact that that kid risked his life, risked a fine, prison, whatever, to write his nickname on a wall. The act is way more powerful than the end result.
I've been caught before. They pressed charges on us and we had to pay some stiff fines. I need to make a living now. I'm making a living as an artist, so I'm doing 90% legal work.
Just like rap one day became mainstream, the same way skateboarding became mainstream, that's what happened to graffiti. And unfortunately, anybody can paint a wall. The idea behind A-Shop was essentially to have a solid organization that represents street artists and graffiti artists in Montreal, to create a bridge between corporate clients, between municipalities, and the artists. My business sells contemporary art. It's artwork that has that graffiti flavor naturally because all of us have a graffiti background. We've painted hundreds of murals in the last couple of years. The Our Lady of Grace mural in NDG put us on the map. First week we had 7 million hits on our website. The photo went viral. It got picked up in LA, in the Philippines. However, there's still a stigma that people have in their head that, well, since these graffiti writers or these street artists come from the street, therefore they're not necessarily worth that much. We're still fighting with that preconceived idea that you can pay a graffiti artist a 6-pack of beer and some hot dogs and he's going to be happy because we gave him a wall.
There is a great scene, a great artistic scene and a great street art scene in Montreal, particularly with the Mural Festival. If you can see the Saint Laurent Street, it looks amazing.
Mural Fest is doing some good things. They're getting big names from out of town, and it's good to educate people about being accepting of public art. I think it's because I'm painting murals for a living. It's something that can benefit anyone who's in that kind of business, and showing building owners that letting artists express themselves is a good thing.
It's driving attention to the talent that we have here. It's allowing other phenomenal artists from around the world to discover Montreal and come work with us and contribute to the culture here.
It gives artists, it gives people a chance to express themselves on a wider scale. It's a form of an art that's engaging, that lets people think and maybe also involve themselves in the conversation.
I really want my work to be relevant, so and I'd like to put a lot of thought into my work. So just hearing people talk or getting a conversation is valuable to me. I put a hand with scissors cutting the tree down. That seems to be the most popular aspect of the piece. This is the biggest single wall I've painted by myself before, so it turned out just as I wanted, pretty much. I'm happy to see where this will take me or what this might, open up. Hopefully, being able to paint more work like this.
We have amazing artists here. We have a lot of really good artists, and a lot of people have been doing this for a very long time. And it's just now that street art is becoming very popular and everybody kind of wants to see and know, and they're doing those weird tours. It's becoming a little annoying, very honestly. Like, I can't wait till it's not cool anymore, and the people that are just doing it because it's cool will stop doing it, and then people who just do it because they want to do it continue. Like, I'm waiting for that time.
It is too trendy already. It's disgusting. It already is that. It's an abomination of fake artists and washed out studio artists that never made it, and young kids who are jumping the guns too much. But we have to embrace it. You can't do anything about it. You can't tell punk rock to not go mainstream. All these kids that are doing this because it's cool now, once that fades out, and they're gonna drop it like an abandoned cat. Well, we're not going anywhere. We've been here since the beginning and we're still going to be here. We'll be here.